Shabbat shalom, everyone. Ki tetzeh lemilchama al oivecha, when you take the field against your enemies. It's not often that you get to see the words of Torah lived out in real life. But about 2 weeks ago, I did. It was a hot, humid day when the battle broke out. As everyone prepared to take the field, there was silence. Suddenly, the battle cries and the chants filled the air, calling out for others to rally behind them. The ground thundered with feet trampling the earth, stomping in rhythm. The yearning for victory was palpable. The air was alive with it. The battle had begun. It was Maccabiah. Yes, Maccabiah. I did not go to war. I did go to color wars at Asrui. For the first 2 weeks of August, I had the privilege of serving as faculty, or segel, at Olin Sang Ruby Union Institute, better known as Asrui. And when I say that it was a privilege, I mean that in the truest sense. Serving as a rabbi at camp is a tremendous privilege. My days are filled with leading prayer, teaching, supporting staff, and building community. And that's just a normal day. Some days I played Gaga while teaching about what it means to play with compassion. Some days I went to the lake and taught about how the Talmud teaches that we're obligated to provide our children with all the tools they need to become successful adults, including teaching them how to swim. Someday I baked pan after pan of shrinky dinks, and if you don't know what they are, you should see me later, and I'll tell you about how you take a special piece of paper and magically, or rather scientifically, shrink it down to 20% of its original size to help provide campers with what it means to be in community long after they leave Asrui. And on Maccabiah, the day of battle, where the orange, or the red and the yellow and the green and the blue teams battled it out, I judged the artistic competitions. Yes, yours truly was a judge for group dance. I have never in my life done a synchronized or even semi-synchronized group dance before. Lip sync battle. I have never lip synced outside of the comfort and relative privacy of my own car. Performative storytelling, something I know a little bit about. Stool decorating. Until this point, I didn't know that you could decorate stools. You can. And poster making. The one and only thing that I am 100% confident in my abilities to judge, because if you didn't know this about me, bubble letters are my superpower. But in the world of Maccabiah, where one does lip sync battles, Jewish trivia kickball, and a camp-wide Meshuggah race, which starts with leapfrog, continues with egg spoon races, followed by reciting Oseh Shalom as you run up a hill, and concluding with climbing a tower and everything in between, as a rabbi, I got to be part of it all. So yes, I did see a battle. No, I did not see the kind of battle that this week's Torah portion was talking about. But I did see other parts of this week's Torah portion happening in real time, not in ancient Israel, but in 2023 Wisconsin. Many of you have heard me talk about my love and passion for Jewish camping before, but I won't ever stop talking about it because it never stops being important. Jewish camping fills my bucket and nourishes my soul in ways that are difficult to explain. When I tell people that I lead prayer to Tefillah twice a day, and that it's beautiful and it's uplifting and exactly what I need to start my morning and end my evening, it's not just because I'm a rabbi and I happen to like praying more than the average person. Everybody at Asrui looks forward to Tefillot. They bookend the day and they provide an anchor in an otherwise chaotic and sometimes unpredictable day. When I tell you that Shabbat Shirah, or Shabbat song session, is something that I wait for from the moment that it ends until the moment I experience it again, whether it's the week from now or a year from now, I'm not exaggerating. To be in a room filled with hundreds of kids singing with every bit of might and love and excitement and true ruach, or spirit, that they can muster brings tears to my eyes. Watching that same group of kids who would at other times and spaces in their lives tell you that dance class isn't their thing or that Israeli dancing is lame, will be the first ones to jump up for Rikudiyam and dance their hearts out, remembering every step, every turn, every clap. and it brings me more joy than I could possibly explain. Living in Jewish time, where conversations begin with "let's meet up for a walk after tefillah" and end with "what is the Hebrew word for cucumber?" It's malaphone, by the way, is something that you can only do at camp. Jewish camp allows our kids from Omaha, Nebraska, where they're never a majority, where our calendar never takes into account, let alone revolves in Jewish time, where despite best efforts, the opportunities to gather in Jewish community are limited, to come to an amazing place and create a completely new Jewish paradigm, if only for a few weeks. And that reality is a place of Jewish intentional community. And that is a place of intentional Jewish living. Parshat Ki Tetzei begins with going to battle, but it continues with what it appears to be on the surface are a disjointed compilation of mitzvot. Everything from how we treat our enemies, to our obligations for returning lost property, to how we treat animals, to how we pay wages, to how we protect and care for the vulnerable among us. It contains, as I said before, 74 mitzvot, more than any other Torah portion. But when we take a step back, we see that it's not disjointed. And we can actually see that the Parsha deals with how we create community. And not just any community, but a community focused on living together even amidst challenges, a community focused on justice and upholding an ethical society, a community focused on caring for those who need it most. And while the mitzvot in this Torah portion may seem mundane or perhaps irrelevant, they are in fact sacred, because it's precisely in these moments, these issues when your ox happens to cross into my yard, or what it means for me to pay my workers fairly, that serve as the foundation of a just and ethical and a compassionate society. These laws ask us to consider each and every part of our lives as opportunities to live Jewishly, to create community Jewishly, to treat others in ways that Jewish tradition teaches us to treat them. And that is what camp asks of us too. It's an opportunity to create Jewish living differently, and perhaps even more intensely because of its unique nature. Whenever I leave camp, I always say, I wish that I could bottle up these moments and bring them home for everyone else to see. I wish that every person could have this experience, could understand why camp fills my bucket, and why I believe that it's such a vital part of Jewish identity building and Jewish future. As much as I wish that I could, I can't bottle it up. But what I can do is continue to share my experiences and share why I think camp is both a blessing and also a necessity. And for those of you who want to hear more, who have questions, who want to think about how we bring pieces of that magic here, I hope that you'll find time to speak with me or with Cantor or with Rabbi Sharf, who loves camp as well. During this season of Elul, as we go into our new year, we're invited to reflect on how to create the lives and the communities and the spaces that we want to live in. And I invite us to think more deeply about how we can create more opportunities, more connections, and more experiences that include the joy of Jewish living. Shabbat Shalom.